Hi, how y'all doing? January the 21st, February the 21st, 2026. It's Saturday here in Ontario, Canada. Cloud covered, snowed throughout the night. An inch, right? Or so, just cover lightly cover the cars and stuff. So I'm not bothering with it at all. 0 is the temperature, Celsius. So yeah, no birds, no dogs. Very quiet day today, right? Hardly any traffic. People must be going through something. We know what it is, though, right? Schuman is 55 today. I'm feeling much better. I really am. I had a rough sleep, though. Had a bit of a hard time going to sleep again. So I started counting gold coins again. Got up to what? Oh gosh, can't even remember. I think 300. And then finally I went to sleep. And then I dreamt. I had a very vivid dream. Woke up at 1 o'clock, the middle of the night, to go to the bathroom. So it woke me up. And then I recalled my dream. My little dog that's gone, she came to visit me, right? She was loving me up, just laying beside me the whole time. I could feel her heat, right? Because she used to lay, she's a Shih Tzu. She was a Shih Tzu, right? 5 pounds. It's very small. And she used to lay in the curve of my stomach when I slept, because I sleep on my side, right? That's how she'd hug me, right? That's what I felt the whole time. And then a couple of other people showed up, 2 of my children, and my ex, of course. I don't know why he keeps showing up. I have nothing to do with him, right? Haven't spoke to him since he kicked me out of my house. And what, I was like 50, you know what I mean? 49 years old, 50, something like that. So yeah, strange. There's something about they took my stove, him and my son took my stove and put another one in, a different kind. All right? Very weird. It was just mundane stuff, right? Except for my little dog. And when I woke up, I give so much gratitude for the Great Spirit for letting her come to see me, right? Because I miss her a lot. We were together for 16 years. So she's my best friend, right? So yeah. And then when after I woke up at 1 to go to the bathroom, I had a very hard time going back to sleep again. I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? It took me like an hour to get back to sleep. So I slept until 7:30, somewhere around there, once I fell back to sleep. But I know it was the Schuman resonance messing with us, right? That great big high peak yesterday of 101, and then it held, and then started softening. That's why it's like 55 now, right? Just change. 5-5, right? So yeah. Strange energy, isn't it? It's because we're in between times right now. The old is gone, and the new hasn't quite stabilized yet. So we're kind of at a in between time. Purgatory, you know, kind of thing, right? Where we can't see what the new is yet. So it's got our minds reaching for answers, right? And the energy in the body is affecting us through the eclipses because we're in eclipse season, right? When was our last? When was our eclipse on on the new moon? So it's been a week or so, right? And the next, that was a solar, and the next one is March 2nd or 3rd, I think. And that's the partial lunar. So we're dealing with a bunch of letting go with the new moon energies in the body that were stuck in the body and in the mind and in the emotions, right? So, yeah. So like 14 days where we're going to feel wonky, not be able to really grasp much at all because we're processing, right? We're buffering, in other words, in a way, right? So yeah, it's quiet. I like it. It's calm, which is weird too. Yesterday when my acquaintance George called me, he said, "Oh, you." He says, "So what's new with you?" I said, "Nothing. Just the same as it's always been." He says, "Oh, it must be boring." I said, "No, it's calm." And he was like, "Calm, right?" And then he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go." And then that was the end of the conversation because I didn't want him to come over, right? And then the people's names the people that were in my dream last night, their names started with the letters that make up the word calm, CALM, right? I thought, isn't that different? Well, my dog, Muffin, right? She was the M. So different. Because when I woke up, I tried to think, why was I dreaming of that? What does that have to do with anything? Why are these people in my dreams, right? They're all still alive except for my canine. And then I was like, what sense can I make out of this? And then it just came to me, what are their initials, right? And I was like, and I started thinking them out, and it adds up to calm. And I did it in that exact order. CALM. 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 Different, right? Strange. But yeah. Did you know when their biblical reset, it was what, 1054? The sun stood still, and so did the moon. And that was their biblical reset, right? One we've had many. I just find it different. They were saying in a sky event. I was wondering if that's a sign. The sun will stand still, and so will the moon. Something to watch for, right? For sure. I was looking at the hill out there too, outside my window that goes up to the town. And there's a white patch that goes through the middle of the pines and the trees. So I got up my binoculars and looked at it. And it's just like one swath of foliage up the hill has like snow or ice on it. That's why it looks white. But not the other trees on either side of it. But that's different. Same as, you know what else is different? I know, right? Um, there's a big building over there, right? Over there, where there's the blood clinic, the vampires, the doctors, and the pharmacy, right? All in one big building. And at night, the lights are all lit up along the back, and there's a few doors at the back. And then right across from me, there's a government building, and they installed four or five light poles that glow blue at night when the sun goes, right? Well, I noticed for this week, the pharmacy lights weren't on, but all the poles were lit up blue. And then the next night, the pharmacy lights are on, and the all the blue poles are not working. They're out. It's been like that, either, all week. I mentioned it to my son. He was like, "Yeah, that's weird, Mom." I was like, "I wonder what's going on there, right?" Strange. But we're in strange times. Everything's changing, right? It's going to get more intense, more arrests and stuff like this of people in power that people don't think will get arrested. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. We're in a different part of time and space. So nobody's above the law anymore. That is interesting. If it's real, right? We need live TV. But I suppose AI can even do that, can't it? So, yeah, just stay calm. Watch what rabbit holes you go down. You don't want to get yourself all muddled up emotionally or in your mind, right? Just know that it's done. It is. It's just got to come out. Right? We are safe. We're secure. All right. How's my Ascension symptoms today? Well, I was pretty good in the rise. I still have that tightness, blockage in I think it's my intestines, right? Under my rib cage, between my ribs and my hip, kind of thing. And then it went right through into the back of the rise, so I put some spray on it, and the back healed up, like stopped aching, but the front still I don't know. Just feels weird. Lots of pressure, right? But it could be the fascia in my body too. It seems to be tightening up and going to the left. I think it happened to my mom too. So yeah. Um, but most of the Ascension symptoms, let's not think it's something let's not diagnose ourselves and think it's something medical. Let's just say it's the energy moving through us, right? Our nervous system, stuff like that. So they're just all Ascension symptoms. As the days progressed, my bones have gotten a bit achy in my back and in my shoulders. I got some pressure in my head, right? And in my side, like I said. And my foot's got a pressure in it too. It's not snapping for me. Oh, I just did it. I've been working on it for hours and I couldn't get a snap out of it. It just happened. See what I mean? But I feel way better than I did yesterday. Like by, 90% better, right? Still icky, but I always am because of the degenerative disc disease and the fibromyalgia, right? And it's not raining, but it's going to start snowing. So we'll see how that affects me. Lots of pressure, right? Something that doesn't suit my body. The fibromyalgia, well, intensifies it. But I don't know what to do about it. I don't have enough money to have a barometric chamber. That's what George was saying yesterday on the phone. You should go. They've got a bunch of new stuff out for about fibromyalgia and everything, right? They've got new stuff that you can do. And I said, yeah, I need a barometric chamber. And he goes, you should invest in that. And I said, yeah, George, I don't have the money you have. Right? He goes, yeah, I just got a check for 5,000 yesterday. I said, yeah, like I said, George, that doesn't happen to me. I don't have the money you do. And that's when he ended the phone call, right? So people always telling you what to do, right? But they aren't in your shoes. So yeah. And then I got a phone call or a text from one of my third son. He's not talking to me, right? Because I freaked out on him on my birthday last year. Because he's just, yeah, made me very unhappy. And I shouldn't have because I was drinking, right? And I've apologized for that. But yeah, he's like, you know why it's so hard for me to forgive you fully, right? He goes off like that, and then he's shaming me and blaming me for the past, right? Instead, he's trying to reach out, but I don't do nothing. And I was like, yeah, he's trying to shame me and blame me, right? I've reached out, he doesn't, right? That's why I said, I tried, but you don't answer. And I said, and even if you hate me, I still love you. Because it's fact, right? He's the one that's given me the hardest time in life with the justice system, you know, doing immoral things and getting arrested and shit like this, right? He's got a lot of work to do. But that's what you do when you don't do your own work. You find other people's mistakes, right? And you blame them for everything. You don't say, well, I made my own choices. It's like, no, it's all your fault because you did this when I was young, right? I never hurt him physically or anything like that, right? But yeah, it is what it is. The astrology says that this is something that's happening, right? It's just the dark working through them to get to you, right? Bring down your vibration. So don't allow it, right? I'm here, I'm open, and the only time he texts me is late at night when he's high and drunk. So that's not really reaching out, is it? But that's okay. Everything will be known, right? Everything will be shown. This too shall pass. The mentally unstable people are losing it. Finding somebody to blame instead of figuring out how to heal themselves. But we all have our own path, don't we? I had lots of energy today. got up, did my laundry, had a shower, stripped my bed. Now I'm doing those in the laundry. All right? So that's a lot for me. It is. Don't have the energy usually to do much. It's one of the symptoms of fibro fatigue. And it's like fatigue big time. You just tired. You have no energy, right? So at least I got that done. We're in the midst of getting it done. I have my last load in the dryer. But yeah, not resonating with nothing on YouTube. But we are in purgatory, shall we say. The in-between stage. Alright? I was watching an energy guy and he was like, March the 20th. This is when everything will straighten out and start going forward again. We'll be more grounded. So best to stay grounded during this time too. And stay calm. No reason not to. Alright, every day I am calmer than the day before. Every day I make myself happy. And every day I have more gratitude. I love you all to consciousness. Enjoy this night or day. Okay? Okay. Bye. Bye.